Imagine for a second a single microscopic error in a lab calibration. It could literally ground an entire fleet of airplanes or halt a life-saving medical trial. The stakes for laboratory accuracy are absolutely massive. So, welcome to today's Explainer. Today we're diving into the ultimate roadmap for preventing those kinds of catastrophic errors, the blueprint to ISO/IICC 17025-2017 accreditation. Whether you're a lab manager gearing up for your very first accreditation or, a seasoned quality professional looking to streamline things, we're going to break down this complex standard step by step.
So here's a critical question for you. Is your lab globally recognized? Do your testing and calibration results actually carry the undeniable weight of global trust? Because let's face it, in today's ultra-competitive marketplace, just saying your lab is competent, that doesn't cut it anymore. Clients demand proof, and without it, you're going to lose bids, you risk your reputation, and you could even face some pretty serious legal hurdles. That undeniable proof? It comes in the form of this internationally recognized standard.
All right, let's quickly look at our agenda for this explainer. We'll cover what ISO 17025 actually is, how the standard has evolved, the 5 core requirements, the mandatory documents, the specific steps to achieve accreditation, and finally, getting your lab completely ready for it.
Okay, kicking things off with Section 1. What is ISO 17025, the foundation of competence?
Developed collaboratively by the International Organization for Standardization and the International Electrotechnical Commission, this standard is the global benchmark. Now, unlike ISO 9001, which is kind of broad and focuses on quality management at an organizational level, ISO 17025 goes way deeper into actual technical competence. Think of it like this. ISO 9001 ensures you have a really good recipe and an organized kitchen. ISO 17025? That's the proof that the cake tastes absolutely perfect every single time, because your scales, your ovens, and your chefs are scientifically validated. It serves as the ultimate, undeniable proof that your facility consistently produces valid, reliable, and impartial results.
Moving right along to Section 2, the 2017 Standard Evolution. We're going from prescriptive to risk-based.
Remember the old 2005 edition? It was super rigid, very prescriptive. It had this incredibly strict division between management requirements and technical requirements. But, as we know, technology and market conditions have totally transformed since then. So the 2017 edition had to evolve to keep up with modern IT systems and electronic records. It shifted to a much more flexible, outcome-focused approach. Instead of dictating exactly how you have to document every little procedure, it essentially demands that you focus on risk and the final reliability of your outcomes. So, for example, instead of telling you exactly how a paper manual needs to be locked in a physical filing cabinet, it asks, hey, what's the actual risk of this data being lost, and how are you mitigating that risk?
And this paradigm shift is massive. Just to put it in perspective, in the older 2005 edition, the word risk popped up, maybe 4 times? But in the 2017 standard, that emphasis completely explodes. The word risk appears over 30 times. Risk identification and mitigation are now at the absolute forefront of your lab's operations. This new structure is fully aligned with recent 17,000 series standards, prioritizing real outcomes over rigid formatting.
Section 3. The 5 core requirements. Let's map out the standard.
So, that old 2-part management technical split? Completely gone. It's been replaced by 5 logical process flow clauses that basically map out the anatomy of a competent lab. Clause 4 covers general requirements. We're talking absolute impartiality and confidentiality here. Clause 5 is structural, defining your legal entity. Clause 6 looks at resources. This is your personnel, your facilities, and crucially, your metrological traceability, which, let's be honest, is really just a fancy way of saying your measurements can be traced in an unbroken, documented chain right back to an international standard. Clause 7 handles process requirements, and finally, Clause 8 covers your management system, and it actually gives you flexible options to plug right into an existing ISO 9001 system if you already have one. Together, these 5 pillars form the true blueprint of a modern laboratory.
Now, I actually want to zoom in on Clause 7 for a second, because this right here is the technical heart of the standard. If we translate the ISO jargon into your everyday reality, Clause 7 represents the complete chronological journey of a sample through your lab. Let's walk a hypothetical water sample through this exact workflow. First up, request and contract review. You're making sure your lab actually has the right equipment and capacity to test for those specific heavy metals or toxins. Next, method validation. Proving the testing method you chose actually works for the sample.
Then you've got sampling and handling, making absolutely sure that water doesn't get cross-contaminated on the bench or, degrade in the fridge. During the test itself, you're maintaining incredibly strict technical records and calculating measurement uncertainty, basically accounting for any realistic margin of error in your gear. And finally, reporting. It's just a seamless, highly controlled flow from start to finish.
And focusing in on Section 7.8, reporting of results. Think about it. Your client doesn't get to see your awesome state-of-the-art facilities or your brilliantly trained personnel. The report itself is your lab's final product. It is literally the only thing they hold in their hands. Everything you do culminates in this single document, which means it has to meet all the strict requirements of the standard to ensure total accuracy, absolute transparency, and defensibility.
All right, Section 4, Mandatory Documents and Records, Building the Evidence.
Now, even though the 2017 version is way less prescriptive about exactly how you write your procedures, creating objective evidence is still absolutely non-negotiable. You have to maintain meticulous records. This means having your overarching quality policy, highly detailed training and competence records for your staff, and totally up-to-date equipment calibration logs. You also need the records proving your method validations, logs from your internal audits, and detailed reports showing exactly how you corrected any nonconformities. Guys, these documents are the armor you wear when the external auditor walks through your door. And trust me, when they start firing off questions, you want that armor to be thick, organized, and totally bulletproof.
Section 5, Steps to Achieve Accreditation. Let's look at the roadmap.
So here's your roadmap. You're going to start with Phase 1, a gap analysis. This is kind of like looking in the mirror before you step on stage. You need a brutally honest assessment of where your current practices are falling short. Step 2 is making sure your whole team truly understands the standard through proper training. Step 3 is developing your documentation and quality manual. Step 4, you're implementing those updated procedures into your daily grind. And Step 5 is critical, an internal audit conducted by a qualified auditor. This isn't optional, it's mandatory. You have to evaluate your own compliance before any external eyes ever get to assess your lab.
Building on that, Step 6 is where top management holds a management review to ensure total readiness. Only after that, at Step 7, do you apply to a recognized accreditation body. Step 8 is the big one, the external assessment where expert assessors come in and scrutinize your lab. Step 9 requires you to fix any nonconformities they happen to find. And finally, Step 10 is the realization that, hey, accreditation isn't a finish line, it's a brand new lifestyle. It requires this continuous cycle of proficiency testing and internal reviews to maintain and improve that hard-earned status.
And finally, Section 6. Ready for lab accreditation? Let's talk next steps.
So we've covered the blueprint, and here is the million-dollar question. Are you ready to transform your lab's competence into undeniable global recognition? Achieving ISO 17025 accreditation is a profound commitment to excellence, and it gives you a massive competitive advantage. But it requires a sheer volume of dedicated work, from that very first honest gap analysis all the way to completely overhauling your technical records.
But listen, taking that massive leap into total compliance doesn't mean you have to do it all alone. If you're looking for a stress-relieving partner to help you navigate these final hurdles, make sure your documentation is completely airtight and confidently guide your team right through that external assessment, you need to secure expert implementation assistance today at rodspaceconsulting.com. They actually have the expertise to turn this highly complex standard into a streamlined reality for your laboratory. Thank you so much for joining me today. Keep embracing that structured knowledge, and I will see you in the next explainer.